Welcome to the East Lancashire Railway on this very sunny morning, so grateful for that. And also this very special occasion to celebrate the service of two fantastic volunteers. I want to thank in particular Mrs Jones and her family for coming along, and Jill Johnson is here also. Just to explain what we're going to try and do, because we've got two different locations to do. Behind here is Trevor T Jones, Ian Ashby is the chairman of the East Lancashire Railway Preservation Society, and Dorothy, I've got to call Dorothy now, will unveil this piece of paper which took me ages to prepare this morning. I've already lost it once.
Don't rip on the pen.
John Pear's going to say a few words, and then we can do the unveiling. We'll have a little presentation to give to Dorothy. So over to you, John.
Oh, thank you. Good morning to you all. I feel very honoured and humble to be asked to say a few words about Trevor before the unveiling. Many words have been written about Trevor's life on the railway, and I have no intention of duplicating them. I joined the society way back in 1986, and at that time the buffet car was in platform 4 prior to the reopening to Ramsbottom in 1986. On one occasion, I went to the buffet car on platform 4 and they asked for the usual tea and cake, and having been several times, I was also curious to know who the lady was named Ivy. Was I, as other people had heard her? So nothing ventured, nothing gained, as they say. I asked the lady serving me the question. The reply was, "That's me, when can you start?" Next weekend was my reply. But somewhat shell-shocked, I then went and sat down, and a gentleman opposite me said, "That is you committed for your life." That gentleman was none other than Trevor Jones. And so began my almost 40 years association with the ELR. Trevor, he may well have had you all at the railway until the early hours of the morning with his famous Trevexes. And he taught you right, he taught you well, but he was always a gentleman, he was always appreciative of what you did. Trevor had a way with him. On the Trevexes, it'd be one coach and one engine, and like, you'll be here till midnight. But he did, and he could open doors that way, and many doors were open for the railway that way. And now, an example of Trevor was when the opening day train arrived at Ramsbottom, the tape cutting and the speeches were done. There was the usual business with the ladies, the mayoress of both. One was heard to say, "When do the shops reopen?" as ladies do. Monday morning came the reply. Bear in mind, this was 1 o'clock on Saturday. And a voice next to me said, "We're going to change that," and he did. So on behalf of the railway, I would like to somewhat a belated thank you to Dorothy for the loan of Trevor for all those years. And if you want to know what legacy Trevor's left, just take a ride from Hayward to Rawtenstall and make sure you look around very carefully. Thank you.
Okay. Trevor was one of the original members of the railway, and he was committed to its development. It's an honour for his family today to be here and to see his name displayed, and to know that his past work is still of value. So I'm sure that he would be quite delighted with all the achievements of the railway and be full of admiration for the dedicated volunteers and officials. So thank you, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. I do want to say something. No, I'm just going to now come up. Okay. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't know Trevor. I'm young at the railway. Not young, but young at the railway. However, I know Trevor every time I come here. I travel 12.5 miles up, 12.5 miles back, and Trevor is always there. Let us always remember that, and fit in these coaches that they will also travel at 25 miles on a regular basis, supporting Trevor's name. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. See, Mike was, he's very diligent. Well done, well done.
Well done.
Okay. Dorothy, on behalf of the Railway and the Society, thank you for coming today. It's been a pleasure to meet you for the first time. I actually met Trevor at a Chinese banquet. Yes, I was dragged in as a substitute, because we used to have a visitor from Datong in China.
Yeah, they did.
Heavily involved.
Yeah.
Well, I have met Trevor, but only on that one occasion, I'm afraid. But I wasn't on the railway then, I was working for the Ferry Council. We were hosting a dinner. You know, so, but on behalf of the railway family, can I present these flowers to you? All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay, good morning again, everybody. We've walked a few hundred yards up the platform to celebrate our second exceptional volunteer this morning. I actually know Bob very well. I worked with Bob all the 10 years I've been on the railway. But Bob was the oldest working member and longest service holding member, 36 years of service. Thank you. In essence, Bob worked right up to the end. I was working with Bob 2 months before Bob passed. He was sanding down the picnic tables that are lying there, and he went out with a huge bang. In my view, Bob was a giant of the railway, dedicating so much of his life to develop, improve, and preserve the heritage railway. I know he'll be hugely missed by the gang, the building maintenance gang that works with him every Tuesday and Thursday and Saturday, volunteers past and present. Bob was an inspiration to so many across the railway, so generous with his time to help others. Throughout those many years, Bob has been part of many milestones that were achieved along the way, from being dressed as a snowman in the very first Santa specials almost 30 years ago, a storyteller on the first Thomas the Tank engine event when he used to stand down in Barron Street welcoming the trucks. He led the present picking team for many years. And he also served as a director and ambassador to visitors from China. Bob also launched the Hit Squad midweek maintenance team. We're now called building maintenance, but we're still the same team that Bob set up 32 years ago. And all his volunteer panels fondly remember those fun-filled days. Bob was very good at telling stories over and over and over again. It was my privilege to work with Bob. I'll tell you a little anecdote about Bob. Bob had a nickname for the painting, One Coat Bob. Undercoat, primer, forget it. It was One Coat Bob. And I remember one day I dared to suggest to Bob, we had a painting job, and should we undercoat it? Now, Bob didn't say a word, just looked straight through me. I knew, forget it. But again, I coined the phrase when we did the press release that he was the godfather of this railway. And I believe commemorating Bob, celebrating Bob today in this way is a very fitting tribute to an exceptional volunteer. Thank you. Jill, you're going to say a few words?
Thanks, Mike. Is this on? I tell a story. Before Bob retired, he joined the railway on the P-Way gang. He'd seen so many people fade away after they retired that he was determined he would have a focus. And by God, was it a focus. After he actually retired, I gave him the to-do list. I swear it was only a roll of lining paper long. And after 2 weeks, I got home from work and he looked at me and said, I can't stand this anymore. I'm going down to the railway 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. What are you going to do? I said. He said, I'm going to restore Bury South signal box. So he went down, Bury South signal box. All our power tools went down. They never came back, but that's a different story. And over the next few weeks, gradually, 1 or 2 more lads started to join him, and that was the start of the hit squad. That same year, Bob went on holiday to Nerja without me. I was still working. He went as muscle power for my friend Rosemary's father, who was in a wheelchair. And at the villa complex, he wandered into the shop, looking through, and found a little book called Lines and Levers. Anyone come across it? No? And he opened it, because it was obviously about railways, and in the first paragraph there were words to the effect of, I started my working life at Bury South signal box. Up to the shopkeeper, I'll buy this, and isn't this strange? I've just started restoring Bury South. And he said, oh, he will be glad. Bob said, who'll be glad? He said, the author, he's in the bar. 3 or 4 San Miguels later, Bob found his way back to the villa. But isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? Thank you for listening.
You guys want to do
Doing the honours. Mind the paint.
very elegant.
Can you tell we're ex-teachers?
Okay.
You've got that. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Had a dinner on that table.
We did.
With Kath.
Can I, again, say on behalf of the railway family how pleased and proud we were to work with Bob, and you've been a stalwart of the railway as well, so I know, I don't know how you and Bob got across the tea table at night when took all the challenges back, but,
Well,
but on behalf of the railway family.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, darling.
Well done.